Howdy, folks. Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. And it's that time again. It's Beer 30. Let's go. So, this edition of Beer 30, I'm going to talk about this beer, and I'm going to talk about this book. So, a lot of you probably already read this, because it's a New York Times bestseller. But just in case you haven't, we're going to talk about that book a little bit. But to start off with, let's talk about this beer. My friend Brad, who DMs back there for our D&D group, he got me, for Christmas, he got me a 12-pack sampler of some of our Utah beers here and everything. But in addition to that, he also brought me one of these. And apparently this isn't one that we can get in our liquor store here. This one came from Evanston, Wyoming, which is the closest place for us to drive to get a lot of other beers that we don't get here. So this one had to travel a ways to get to me. And so I appreciate that, Brad. Thank you. It is, in case you didn't read that, Sierra Nevada Coffee Stout, cold brewed coffee. I've never had a coffee stout. I've had chocolate stouts a lot, double chocolate stouts, whatever. I don't believe I've ever had a coffee stout. So I can't wait to dig into this. I will read to you, and because I'm old, I gotta take my glasses off so I can see up close. Our coffee stout combines malt flavor and roasty coffee for notes of baker's cocoa, dark fruit, and espresso in a complex blend of warming flavors. So this is perfectly suited for wintertime because I like dark beers in the wintertime. And we're just getting out of a cold snap where it was in the negatives. It was like -7 one night, that type of thing. So it's been really cold. So there's what she looks like in the glass. Wow, I get almost a. It's kind of like a. You can taste the coffee, but I get almost a black pepper finish there. I actually get a little of a peppery finish there for some reason, which isn't. I mean, it isn't. It doesn't change the opinion of it. It's a good beer. It's just a different flavor I wasn't expecting. Yeah, you can definitely. You'd almost swear there was a little chocolate in there. It's almost kind of like a chocolate stout, but you can definitely taste the coffee, like the espresso flavors in there. You can taste, and then it's got that little bit of a black, to me, a little black pepper hint there. And then on that sip, yeah, they were talking about the fruity flavors. It's weird, almost like a deep dark cherry, just a little hint of that too. So it's some complex stuff going on in here. Very good though. It does have it's a 6.8, I believe, on alcohol volume. So just in case anybody cares about that, let's see here. You can tell how old a person is by how far out they got to hold stuff, or they got to take their, unless they've got bifocals, 6.2 on alcohol. So for this edition of Beer 30, like I said, we're going to talk about this book right there by Miss Felicia Day. If you do not know who Felicia Day is, you've been living under a rock or something, or you've stumbled onto my channel somehow by mistake. Because if you're any type of a what you would call a person who's into geek culture, nerd culture, that type of thing, it's almost assured that you would know who she is, because she's been in shows like Supernatural, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Dollhouse. She was in what else am I forgetting? A lot of stuff by Joss Whedon, who, by the way, wrote the foreword to this book. Joss Whedon, the guy who gave you, the Avengers movie, and that type of thing. Plus, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Firefly, all that Joss Whedon. Yeah, he wrote the foreword to this because apparently they're pretty good friends because she's worked for him a lot in a lot of different projects and things. So in addition to that, she's probably the very first person that did a truly ridiculously successful web series on YouTube called The Guild. And here's a little splash screen for you there. So that's The Guild. It was 6 seasons on YouTube. Fantastic. If you like a parody of people that play an MMO, massive multiplayer online role playing game, you will love The Guild. She created that. She starred in it, so forth. I'm pretty sure she wrote most of it. And she was also in the Dragon Age, based on the video game franchise, the Dragon Age Redemption, where she played the main character in that. She played the elf ranger in that. So from that picture, you can probably figure that out. So those are some of the things that she's done. And this book is her memoir. And it basically tells about how her awkwardness and her likelihood to not fit in her early years at school and so forth actually helped lead her down the path to becoming successful at what she does. And like I said, this was a New York Times. It is still on New York Times bestseller list, but I think it was as high as number 3 at one time. And I'm about halfway done. I haven't finished it, but I still have read enough at halfway through to be able to say it's a fantastic book. If you are watching my channel, you are more than likely a gamer, and she's a huge gamer. That was a big influence on her getting into doing the types of projects that she does. And then it also talks about how she doesn't take no for an answer. She is persistent at doing projects and getting projects done, even when people say, well, that won't work, it's not going to, she's proven that she can still get them done and they can be successful. She started, after The Guild, she started a channel on YouTube called Geek and Sundry. And that's where Will Wheaton of Star Trek Next Generation fame, Will Wheaton started his show Tabletop. If you've watched Tabletop, that was as a result of Felicia Day's starting the channel Geek and Sundry. It's more than a channel. It's a franchise, I guess, because there's a lot of different shows that have been on Geek and Sundry. So she has spawned all that type of stuff. So this was just a quick video to say, yes, I'm halfway done with this. I'm going to finish it probably tonight if I can pull myself off the computer. I'll finish the book tonight. It's fantastic. There's a lot of humor in it. She's quite funny. So here's to good beer and good books. I don't do enough reading. I need to. I don't do resolutions, but I'd like to, change that and start doing a little bit more reading. Yeah, there's that that black pepper. That's there. So how are you about being able to squeeze in time for reading? You can comment below if you'd like. With all the video games, Steam with all their great sales and everything, and so there's always a deluge of games coming out, even backlog of games that you want to get caught up on, that type of thing. We've got movies, we've got TV shows, all that stuff. And then somewhat, of course, you've got work. Most of us work for a living. Do you find time to squeeze in reading too on top of that? So I'd like to hear your guys' opinion on that. So anyway, cheers, guys. Hope you're having a good, refreshing beverage, and we'll catch you on the flip side.